Hello friends, welcome to our channel Academia Unlimited. Today's video is a very special video because it marks a collaboration, a historical collaboration between our channel Academia Unlimited and Jawahar Kala Kendra Book Club. Friends, Jawahar Kala Kendra Book Club is a very innovative experiment carried out under the dynamic leadership of the Director General of Jawahar Kala Kendra, Ms. Mugdha Sinha. Mugdha Sinha ma'am has started this new book club in Jawahar Kala Kendra under the vision of bringing together the intelligentsia and the citizensia of Jaipur and creating a platform where we all can come and discuss our love for books and enrich each other's knowledge. So in this series, today I am going to present a book review. The book that I have picked is a very interesting read. The title of the book is Kaifi and I, and it is written by Shaukat Kaifi. Friends, Shaukat Kaifi is a very renowned theatre actor and also a character artist in Bollywood. She also happens to be the wife of late Mr. Kaifi Azmi Sahib. I beg your pardon, it is very unfortunate that today even Ms. Shaukat Kaifi ma'am is not in this mortal world. She wrote this book many years back in memory of her husband Kaifi Azmi Sahib. Friends, you all would be knowing the legendary Kaifi Azmi Sahib, one of the greatest poets of India. Kaifi Azmi Sahib had doled out legendary songs like Kar Chale Fida Hum Jano Tan Sathiyon, Ab Tumhare Hawale Watan Sathiyon, or the famous song from Pyasa, Waqt ne kiya kya hasi sitam, tum rahe na tum, hum rahe na hum, and many other famous songs. The whole 50s and 60s Bollywood was known for the legendary and idealistic songs of Kaifi Azmi Sahib. So friends, in this book, Shaukat Kaifi ma'am has very fondly written about her husband Kaifi Azmi Sahib. But the most interesting aspect of this book is that apart from the very Urdu afsana type love story of this couple and their whole ordeal and their whole endeavor and their whole struggle in Mumbai, apart from these things, she has mentioned about very interesting things. Like, for instance, she takes the readers on a journey into a bygone era. She covers so many worlds, she covers so many eras which today have been completely lost, but as a reader, when we read about them, then we are transported into a very different world. For example, Shaukat Kaifi ma'am belonged to Hyderabad. Her father was a very high-ranking bureaucrat in the Nizam administration of Hyderabad. So she talks in detail about how Hyderabad, the capital of Nizam Empire, used to be back then before independence. So she gives a lot of insight about the Nizam Shahi. Then she talks about how the communist world used to live and used to lead their lives in Mumbai. Kaifi Azmi Sahib was a party card holder. He was a staunch communist, staunch leftist. He was a part of the Communist Party of India. And after marriage, Shaukat Kaifi ma'am and Kaifi Azmi Sahib used to live in a commune which was known as Andheri commune. So Shaukat Kaifi ma'am talks at length about how there was this entire breed of very dedicated and radical communist leaders who used to live under a lot of stress, under a lot of difficult situation because they believed in their ideal of creating a just and equitable world. So Nizam Shahi, after Nizam Shahi, she talks about the Andheri commune, the life of Mumbai communists. She mentions many famous communist leaders. Then she also talks about how the ripening world of Mumbai cinema was taking its place, how in the 1950s and the 1960s the budding poets, the budding script writers of Mumbai, the playwrights they used to assemble, what sort of a life they led. And she also talks about the very enchanting mushairas which used to take place in different cities of India at that time, not only Mumbai, other places like Lucknow, Hyderabad, Aurangabad, etc. It's a very enchanting way in which she describes that white bed sheets which were called as Chandni, they were spread over mattresses, and on those mattresses in moonlit nights the mushairas used to take place. Similarly, Shaukat Kaifi ma'am also talks at length about Prithvi Theatre, the legendary Prithvi Theatre, which was founded by Prithviraj Kapoor Sahab. She talks that how Prithviraj Kapoor had a very paternal attitude towards each and every artist, and he used to take care of all the artists very fondly, and that was a great thing. She mentions innumerable instances when Prithviraj Kapoor used to make sure that the entire troupe, the theatre troupe that he used to travel with all over India, was taken well care of, and many a times he would lend money to needy artists and so on and so forth. Friends, like I mentioned, Shaukat Kaifi ma'am in herself was a great thespian, a theatre lover. She was a very renowned and established theatre actor in the 50s and 60s in Mumbai. Apart from that, she also had a very successful career in Bollywood, in Hindi cinema, where she played very many iconic characters. If you would have seen Umrao Jaan, then she was there. She had acted in Umrao Jaan, and then there were many other movies. So she also talks about the silver screen, about how in the 60s and the 70s parallel cinema was a very sought after field in Bollywood, and the art movies, they had their own genre, and they were running parallel with the mainstream cinema and bringing in a lot of meaningful art and meaningful literature in the form of movies. Apart from that, friends, this book is a pleasure to read because it talks about how there was a class of writers, artists, poems, actors back then in the 1950s and 60s who used to live a very idealistic life, and they used to look at cinema as an expression of art. Just to give you an example, in this book, Kaifi Azmi Sahib's disdain for money is very strongly exhibited by Shaukat Kaifi ma'am. She says that once it so happened that Kaifi Azmi Sahib was invited to Saudi Arabia, and people were so enamored by his poetry that he was offered a gift of 70,000 rupees. But look at the greatness of Kaifi Azmi Sahib, that he refused that amount. He did not accept that amount, and he just asked the organizers to give him a video camera, which he then later on donated to IPTA, the Indian People Theatres Association. So this book is full of IPTA, PSA, PWA, Progressive Writers Association, of which Sahir Ludhianvi Sahab, Josh Malihabadi Sahab, all of them were a part. And like I said, different mushairas were held in Mumbai, sometimes which were attended by poets from all over the world. Kaifi Sahab was also very active in Russia and other European countries. So all of that is in this book. Friends, Shaukat Kaifi ma'am in this book has very fondly talked about the different rooms, small houses, better houses in which she and her family lived in Mumbai. So that is a very touching aspect. She has talked in detail about small tiny little furniture which she bought on installments so that she could beautify her house. So that's a very interesting thing. The main house of the Azmis was a place in Juhu which was named Janki Kutir, which even today is owned by the Azmis and now has been converted into a trust which runs a museum sort of a thing in honor of Kaifi Azmi Sahab. So Shaukat Kaifi ma'am talks very fondly about Janki Kutir. Friends, besides all these points, one of the biggest highlights of this book is that it talks about Indian Muslims in a different light. In fact, Shaukat Kaifi ma'am, in reference to her father, to her daughter, to her son, and to her own paternal family, says that there was always this section of Indian Muslims in India living in different cities who were very progressive, very urbane, and this breaks many ill-informed notions about Indian Muslims. Shaukat Kaifi ma'am talks at length that how in her family, even in the 1930s and 40s, education was very important. The importance and the vitality of co-educational facilities was acknowledged even back then. And then even if you look at Shabana Azmi ma'am's upbringing, we get to know in this book that it was a very egalitarian, idealistic upbringing that she and her brother were given. Friends, according to Shaukat Kaifi ma'am, the love story of Kaifi Azmi and Shaukat Kaifi began with a wonderful poem. She says that Kaifi Azmi was a very famous young poet in Hyderabad, Aurangabad, the whole of Deccan, Mumbai, Lucknow, all these places. So once it so happened that Kaifi Azmi was invited to a mushaira at Shaukat Kaifi ma'am's house, and there the young handsome poet recited one of his very famous poems called Aurat. I'm sure you would have heard the first lines of this poem, Ut meri jaan mere saath hi chalna hai tujhe. So she says that when Kaifi Azmi Sahib recited this poem in his baritone voice, that was love at first sight, and that's how a 55-year-long companionship began. So it's a very enchanting snippet into her life. And for you friends, I will read out the English translation of this book. I beg your pardon, of this poem. So the title of the poem is Aurat. In English, it's called Woman, and it goes like this. Arise, my love, for now you must march with me. Flames of war are ablaze in our world today. Time and fate have the same aspirations today. Our tears will flow like hot lava today. Beauty and love have one life and one soul today. You must burn in the fire of freedom with me. Arise, my love, for now you must march with me. So friends, I hope you do this, I hope you do read this book and enjoy it. We come to the end of this video. I hope you must have enjoyed this book review. I am very thankful to Director General of Jawahar Kala Kendra Mugdha Sinha ma'am for starting this very interesting book club. I am also very thankful to her for giving us this opportunity and forging this collaboration. I hope in this series we will come up with many interesting videos. I hope you like this video. Please do share it and also subscribe to our channel Academia Unlimited. This video will in due course of time also be available on the website of Jawahar Kala Kendra. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.